Hey, good morning. It's John again to play Immaculate Grid, going for low time, going for low rarity score, playing grid number 416, which no player has ever hit 416 home runs on the dot in their career. Although by the time you're watching this, maybe Giancarlo Stanton has gotten there because he was at I think 413 just the other day. So 416 does work for the number of career doubles in the career of one Ian Kinsler. So there's that. You can take that. We'll do this in honor of Ian Kinsler. Let's share the screen. Let's start playing. Get through this Immaculate Grid here. This was yesterday's grid. This was the rarity round. Did pretty well here. I mean, this was a two. That's right. This was a two. This was might have been the best one I've ever done like live. Um anyway, let's delete this part. Let's hit go and away we go. All right, that's Eddie Murray. And I think I'll go Greg Olson here. Did I spell his name right? Sweet. Um, Aubrey Huff played for both these teams. Great. Lofton will do well here. Let's see. Goldschmidt, I think, had a season. And then Ty Cobb stole well over 30 bases several times. Tomei for 100 RBI. Let's go Luis Gonzalez here. And then Maglio. I don't know why I thought of him before Miguel Cabrera. 56 seconds, 193. Doing this one a little bit earlier in the day. Let's see, so I got the highest one. I guess Tomei was the highest one for Baltimore and Cleveland. How did Eddie Murray do? Just short of him. Makes sense because Tomei didn't, or excuse me, Murray didn't play long for Cleveland, but he played right as they came into prominence again in the 90s. Um, so I could, see that connection. He actually probably, I think he preceded uh Tomei as because he was first base from 95, 96. He gets traded to Baltimore. I know that Cleveland also acquires Kevin Seitzer somewhere in there from the Brewers in exchange for Jeremy Burnitz. But then Tomei moves from third base to first base for the 97 season, which was Cleveland's second pennant in 3 years. Lofton taking 56%, no big surprise there. Corbin Carroll taking 49%. How Goldschmidt do? Just 5%. Only 7 people. I know Tony Womack is a famous one. So that one, that'll be tough to come up with because Corbin Carroll's got 49, Goldschmidt 5, so that's 4. Womack's going to be pretty high. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend some time thinking about who would actually be John Scoot, former Brewer. Nice. All right, cool. Fun stuff all the way around. Looks like I got the most popular one 4 times. I don't know what compelled me to go with Maglio, but he's at 7%. I just remember that 07 season was gnarly. All right, stop, reset. I guess I don't really need to reset right away, but it doesn't hurt anything. Share screen. Bring up that screen. And do that, and away we go. All right. So with being in a little bit less of a rush, Tony Batista works here. Mike Morgan works here. I don't know that any of them would be less popular though than who'd I pick? The guy I picked. Greg Olson is the guy I picked. Finley will also work in here. I don't think that's going to be particularly low. This down here, we can go with our guy. 90-ish. Takes a full percent, so I don't think that's a big secret anymore. Let's see, Cleveland and St. Louis Browns. We could go Satchel Paige. Also not a big surprise anymore. Who else? I don't think Kareem Garcia works. Trying to think of those original Diamondbacks. Yeah, Jay Bell, Matt Williams, neither of those guys work. Um, yeah, we'll go with Mike Morgan. Full percent. Not fooling anybody so far. Let's see. 100 RBI in a season. What do we think of Richie Sexson, 1999? Goes sub 1. Still pretty high, though. Maybe down here we go with Jay Bell, also 1999. Takes 2%, but that's 2% on Jay Bell for the Diamondbacks. I think, given I didn't see what the numbers were, but I think that's more impressive than almost 1% for Richie Sexton. Maybe I could have spent a little bit more time on that, come up with someone better. And then for the Tigers, Cobb will work, and a lot of people picked him for the 30 stolen base one. I think Sam Crawford will work. Um, who else? I don't know that Goslin played a little bit in Detroit towards the end of his career. I don't know if he gets to 100 RBI, I should say. Colavito will certainly work. Bobby Higginson will work. I wrote about Bobby Higginson as actually I didn't write about him much. I wrote a whole chapter about the lowest WARs among players with 300 batting average, 30 home runs, 100 RBI seasons, since those are traditional benchmarks for excellence. Higginson was not amongst those lowest WARs, but he did have like the quintessential, like, it was 300 on the dot, 30 home runs on that, and it was like 101 RBI or something along those lines. Maybe it was 301 and 100 RBI, but it was like right there. So I referenced his, I think, 2000 season for that. But he was the only really good Tiger in, like, I think Tony Clark was there too. So I don't know. Let's go with Colavito. Let's see how Colavito does. 0.3. Maybe that was better. Also would have worked up here. All right, 30 stolen bases. I believe Shoeless Joe works here. That takes a full percent. So I'm going to hover right around a 9. Actually, I'm probably going to be a lot higher because Diamondbacks 30 stolen bases. There's only 7 choices. I think Tony Womack is too obvious. He stole 72 bases in the 1999 season, which I've got a couple of references here to the 1999 season. So, I don't think Council ever does it. I don't think Spivey ever does it. I think Mark Reynolds stole a surprising number of bases, but I don't think it was over 30. I think it was just like it was like 20 the year he hit 44 home runs, and you're like, that guy steals bases. I assumed he just hit home runs and struck out all the time, made a bunch of errors. But I don't think he gets to 30. Um, maybe Chris Young. I don't think Justin Upton does it. I don't know about Ryan Reynolds. I don't think Kelly Johnson or Aaron Hill does it. They were swapped for each other. Pretty similar players. Orlando Hudson, maybe? Kettle Marte, maybe? Um, Finley definitely stole over 30 bases, but I don't think he did for the Diamondbacks. I think he just did it with the Padres. The only other name I've come up with so far is Womack. So I might throw a guess out there rather than go with Womack, because I think Womack's gonna be too obvious. Let's see. Down here, I want to say Kirk Gibson works. Um, Not sure on Gary Pettis. Not sure on Sam Crawford. Brian Hunter is someone who will definitely work here. Let's try Brian. Let's see how many people remember Brian Hunter's insane 1997 season. Gotta get the right one. Takes 2%. All right. And the thing is, I think this has come up before, and that's how I know not to do Womack. But I think when it came up before, Corbin Carroll wasn't at 30 stolen bases. It would have been last year. And so that has probably changed the dynamics of this one a little bit. I'm trying to think of that 2011 playoff team that played the Brewers. And like Upton was an MVP candidate that year. I think he was top 5. I don't think he got 30 stolen bases, though. I think he got the 30 home runs. Reggie Sanders is a guy who stole over 30 bases, but I don't think he did in the 01 season. Um, Again, I don't think Council does it. Alex Sintra, that's a name. Um, the best one I've come up with so far is Chris Young. So we'll take a shot on Chris Young. Rather than go with Womack, which I know would work, I'm going to go with Chris Young. Take a shot. Really? I don't know which one it is. That's too close. Who are these guys? Which one is the one I'm thinking of? I'm gonna go with this one. That was wrong. Was that even right? It wasn't even right. So there ones. Oh, I knew Gene Segura and I knew Eric Burns. I should have been able to come up with those guys. I was not gonna get Pollock, Dyson. Dyson with exactly 30. Burns, I remember that 2007 season. Pollock, I don't remember that 2015 season. I was deployed the whole time. Segura, though, was a Brewer, and so I do remember that he was an option here. I should remember that. Uh, for future reference, let's look up Chris Young. Let's look up the one I picked. Okay, I at least picked the Diamondback, and I was only off by like 3 stolen bases. Look at that. He was almost 30-30 in his first season. I know he had a really good year like that. I mean, 295 on base, but still, rookie season, almost 30-30. Oh, and then he does it almost again. I mean, he was on the verge of 230-30 seasons. So that's pretty close. I don't mind that guess. I didn't realize he had over 30 home runs that year. That's impressive. All right. Well, we'll take the L. That was a shot worth taking. I should have come up with Gene Segura, though. He was a Brewer, so I should have come up with him. He's actually in the Greinke trade. And I guess by that season he was teammates with Zach Greinke. So there you go. But thanks a lot nonetheless for playing and playing along with my failure here. And we'll be back at it a little bit later. All right now. Peace.